Welcome to another week. It's Monday and already considerably late. It's already dark outside because today James Nye, a bee researcher, was visiting us, the university or the department today, and yeah, we got an hour to chat with him. So all the grad students and also postdocs of the lab. Yeah, he gave a talk earlier this day, and we also had some lunch with pizza in the department for all the grad students that wanted to come. So that was a cool opportunity to get to know a researcher from another university and yeah, to ask him questions like one-on-one. And yeah, you usually don't have that opportunity so much. Other than that, I didn't do that much. So see you tomorrow. It's finally getting a little colder at night, so I found a use for my one long sleeve that I packed and these lovely warm socks. I guess winter is coming. Well, at noon it still gets pretty hot, so above 30 degrees. I just reviewed some questions for an exam that we will give on Friday again, so you know it's gonna be stressful again next week. And after I have gone shopping, I will tackle a rather difficult homework for my modeling course that is also due Friday, and it is about so we actually model or program a program where two different strategies fight against each other in a game theory kind of tournament. That's not really easy to do, but it's also pretty fun. Let's see how that goes. It's a sandstorm! That's weird. Well, I let the program run in an infinite loop, which is not supposed to happen, so the program crashed and I had to restart it, and since I did not save it, I have to rewrite the code that I just wrote. So I think I got the first part of it done. So for clarification, this here is the code that does things. So when I hit enter, it gives me some numbers. And this here that are comments that explain what this code is doing, as it is good coding practice. So I just want to talk about this homework and in general. And coincidentally, this is also similar to what we went through in the class that I'm TAing, that I will give an exam on Friday. So what this is about is a sort of a version of the prisoner's dilemma, or the dilemma, I think it's called, of the commons, which is trying to explain why we cooperate and why so many organisms in nature cooperate. So let's say you have two people and they don't know each other and they don't know what the other person is doing. And if they both say they cooperate, then each of those two people gets granted $60. And they can also say that they don't cooperate, so they cheat or they defect. In this case, so if person one defects and person two cooperates, then person two doesn't get anything and person one gets $100 instead of only $60. And if both defect, if both want to cheat, then both gain 0. So an advantageous strategy, if you know that the other one is going to cooperate, is to always cheat. Since you don't know whether the other one is going to cheat, you don't really know what the best strategy is. And so there is this whole game theory about that, and basically what it's saying is if you play that for multiple rounds, then tit for tat is probably the best. So if your opponent cooperates, then you should also cooperate in the next round, and if he defects, then you should also defect and punish him. So what that means for natural settings, for populations maybe, is that cheating is not always the best strategy, and instead you should cooperate but sometimes cheat. It depends basically on what the other part of the population is doing. And this is exactly what we are trying to model here. And It might seem simple, but it actually is. It just needs a little bit of time to make these logical statements into numbers and operations that a program can do.
When do you stop? When do you start again? When do you, what do each move mean? I'm like, what are you talking about?
How did I solve that?
So you're doing do's, and I think,
Yes.
I think I might like do better.
I had to use do because for didn't work.
And we're using while, and so
I also used while sometimes, and then I had to replace it with ifs because while didn't work.
I don't like while. Maybe that's it, is that we're just using while, and it's, for whatever reason, the way that we're doing it, it's not working.
I don't know why while does not work.
Well, it's because you have to have the conditions outside of while, which is what we were doing here.
Really? And my question is, why don't you get real outcomes?
Oh, I don't know, honestly.
But now he's gone.
The code is almost finished, so I still need to troubleshoot one issue that is silly, but yeah, I don't know how to solve it. And yeah, basically 4.5 hours after I have completed the first part, like the first quarter of the code, it looks like this now. And basically I have just copy and pasted it with some minor tweaks. So tomorrow afternoon I will have to have this sent in and running, but I have already asked Anna for help about this tiny problem, just in the syntax, because if you put one bracket wrong, then potentially your whole code is screwed up. And yeah, sometimes it's pretty hard to figure out where your bracket is wrong, and in this case it's even simpler. I don't know why this code executes the thing that stands in front of it, not if something stands behind it in one line, even though it should. Mathematica. So Greg, as you saw, had even greater trouble of implementing his thoughts into the coding language, and so I'm interested in seeing whether he figured out how to do it by tomorrow, because usually he gets the homework done quicker and better, even though he doesn't believe it, I think. While I'm heavily occupied by grading the exam, the second one, and I'm not even halfway through, I'm gonna wrap up this week and say that my camera battery died. Okay, just had the second exam, so this is why I couldn't film the final moments of this homework and the coding. We didn't fully get the code and get the program running before the time ran out, but so be it. The next ones will only get harder. Well, in a few hours I'm going to go to a Halloween party, since 'tis the day, organized by somebody from the department, and there will be a few grad students, I guess. So enjoy this outro and see you next week. Is that enough of a dress? Oh, now it is.
I heard you get an issue on one way, so I never know which one you prefer.